Isn't that cool though? It is really a good beginner Parkjet. Now I can't wait to get it converted so that I can do manual aerobatics with it. That is going to be a blast. Okay, so let's see. I don't know how far I am through my battery here. I just want to bring it down here low and give it full throttle just to see. I mean, it's not going to be a speedster by any stretch of the imagination, but that's not bad. That's not bad for a beginner Parkjet. I've got my Park10 F22 out here this morning, and I've got it bound up to the TX16S. It's a very fun little Parkjet, but the only way that you can do aerobatics with it is using the stunt button. It says 6G/3D. I don't know where they're getting their 3D from. The 3D mode may be a little less restrictive than the 6G mode, but you certainly cannot do any aerobatics with it, that's for sure. Alright, so unfortunately, I thought I was getting something that could do aerobatics manually, you know, via the transmitter rather than a button that does it for you. But that's not the case. So I will be converting this because it is a really, really nice airframe. Alright, let's get it in the air. Launching. Takes right off. It's nice and smooth. We'll bring it down. You have differential thrust, so you have yaw control. It is a 4-channel. You have throttle. You have aileron and elevator mix as elevons, and then you have yaw control via differential thrust. So I'm using some differential thrust right now. So this is an excellent beginner Parkjet. It's one of the better ones that I've seen for just being nice and smooth and slow flying and stable. That is not a problem. Anybody is going to be able to fly this, including a child that's never flown something before. And it has a really good glide slope too. So let me bring it over here. We'll get some altitude, get it going away from us. I'll point it back towards us, and then I'll just cut the throttle. Alright, throttle's off. Throttle's off. And it has a really good glide, doesn't it? We got a little bit of a turn going there. Alright, so you don't even have to fly it down. If you want, you can just let it glide until it touches down. And it was still gliding there. I've got power in it now, but it was still gliding, so it will glide for a long way. I was really impressed with that. So it's a very lightweight plane. My all-up weight with the stock lipo, I think it came out at about 70 grams. 70 grams, somewhere between 70 and 72 grams. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it was less than 73 grams, which is what it states in the manual. And I don't have my landing gear on it. The landing gear was absolutely atrocious. Terrible landing gear. One of the worst landing gears I've seen for any plane, much less a Parkjet. So I opted not to put the landing gear on it. So I did save some weight from the landing gear. I don't know, maybe a gram. Maybe it's so flimsy, maybe it was less than a gram. I don't know. But you can do high alpha with it to do really slow turns like we're doing right now. You can fly it in a tight area using elevon and yaw control on the motors. You can make a look at that. That's a tight turn. So you can fly it in a small space. The fact that it flies really slowly gives you plenty of time to think about what you need to do as far as controlling it, which is what you want in an absolute beginner plane. Okay, so I do have the stunt button programmed and the light button programmed into my TX16S, and those work. Everything seems to work just like it does with the stock transmitter. So we'll gain a little altitude and we'll try out the stunt button. Okay, so before the batteries get too low, okay, so there's a loop. So I've got it on a 3-position switch. Makes it a little bit cumbersome. We'll do that again. Okay, so, and if you set that up on a transmitter like I have, a multi-protocol transmitter, what you want to do is you need to engage the switch, and then when it starts doing the maneuver, like right now we'll do it. Okay, so I disengage, I put the switch back in the default position once it starts the stunt. Okay, otherwise it'll keep doing stunts. Alright, so let's see if we can get it to roll. Ready? Does a pretty good roll. Okay, so that was to the left. Let's bring it back around here and we'll try it to the right. Hey, I did it pretty well. That does rolls and loops pretty well. It doesn't lose a lot of altitude. We'll do a roll again. I mean a loop again. Yeah, it does that flawlessly. I have to say the stunt button on this one works really, really well. Alright, so let's see if we can bring it over here and land it in the tall grass over here. There we go. Okay, so this little Parkjet is a lot of fun as a beginner Parkjet. I have fun just bringing it out here and cruising around with it. I think it will be a lot of fun and a lot of wind. It's not what I thought it was when I pulled the trigger on it. It stated that it was 6G 3D. Well, all the 6G 3D aircraft I've flown so far means that in 3D you can actually do manual stunts with it, right? Aerobatics with it. That is not the case with this one. It's very misleading. I'm going to ding Park10 for being very misleading on what this aircraft can actually do. But I do highly recommend it as a beginner Parkjet, because as you could see, it's very stable, it's very maneuverable. You can fly it in a small area. You can make tight radius turns with it. It is full 4 channel. It will turn just fine just using the elevons. So someone who's never flown a plane before can turn it fine with just using the elevons, you know, the aileron and the elevator. And then once they get confident with it, they can also start using differential thrust, learn how to use a rudder on it. As you saw, it can fly very, very slow. And with gaining a little bit of altitude and cutting the throttle completely, gaining some altitude and cutting the throttle completely, it has an excellent glide profile. And so you don't even have to fly it down. If you want, you can just cut the motor and let it float down and land on the grass nice and soft. I'll have links to it in the show notes. I am going to be converting mine to something different. I don't know if I'll leave the brushed motors in place or if I'll replace it with a brushless motor. But I'm definitely going to put something in it so that I can do aerobatics with it. Alright, so stay tuned for that. Links to it will be in the show notes. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the air.